friends, happy Monday. Again, in our class we usually try to do a craft on Monday, so I thought we would do another craft this week. And this week we're actually going to try bubble art. So there's two ways that you can actually do this craft. One is going to be if you already have bubbles, you can skip the first part here where we're actually going to make bubbles, and then I'll let you know when you can jump in at what point you would be doing that. So if you have bubbles, you're good to go for a few minutes, but if you don't happen to have bubbles at your house, like I don't have bubbles, then we're actually gonna make our own bubbles and our own bubble wand. So here we go. So let me tell you what you need if you're gonna make bubbles. You're just gonna need some dish soap. You're gonna need, we'll use water with that. You're gonna need a little bit of sugar, which sounds weird, but it works. And then you're gonna need a liquid measuring cup and a teaspoon, and then just a bowl to put it in. So let's go ahead and get started with making our bubbles. So the first step is you're gonna take your liquid measuring cup and your dish soap, and you're gonna measure 1/4 cup of dish soap into your measuring cup. So squeeze it in for 1/4 cup. All right, and then I have my bowl here. We're just gonna dump the dish soap in. Try to get as much out as possible. And then we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of water. So let me grab our water. All right, so 3/4 a cup water into the same bowl. And then you're gonna take 1 teaspoon of sugar, and you're gonna add that in here. So I have my sugar, scoop out 1 teaspoon, and dump it in the bowl. So that's it. You have dish soap, water, and sugar. And now we're just going to kind of mix it together. You want to dissolve the sugar a little bit into that water, which is why I have a whisk. All right, and that's our bubble mixture, so pretty easy. I'm gonna set this off to the side and I'm gonna show you how to make a bubble wand in case you don't have one. So I'm gonna put this over here. We'll come back to that in just a minute. And now to make my bubble wand, I think the easiest thing would be if you have a pipe cleaner. So let me show you quick, if you have a pipe cleaner at home, how you can just turn it into a bubble wand. If you don't have a pipe cleaner, I have another backup that you can try as well. Just again, trying to use things that we might already have at home so we don't have to go out and get anything. So with your pipe cleaner, you're just gonna lay it out flat, and really you're just gonna make a circle on the end. Obviously that's where our bubbles will come out of. Kind of twist it on there. And then just kind of folding the other half to make it a little bit stronger, twisted it. So again, you can kind of just see that it looks like what a bubble wand would look like. And then we'll dip this in our bubbles, we'll blow them out, and that way you don't have to go out and buy a bubble wand. Now, if you don't happen to have a bubble wand or a pipe cleaner, I tried it with tin foil. It sounds kind of strange, but you can also make it with tin foil. So I just have a strip of tin foil here, and really to the best of your ability, you're just gonna try to roll it. Mom or dad or an adult can kind of help you with this. It can be a little tricky, but you're really just gonna roll up your thin strip of tin foil. Mine was probably like 1.5 inches thick, just however really much you want it. You're gonna roll up the tin foil, kind of try to make it into like a little log, if you want to say that. And then you're just gonna take an end, kind of like we did with our pipe cleaner, and you're just gonna form a circle. And you're gonna wanna try to smooth it out a little bit on the inside, just so your bubbles don't get caught in any little ridges of tin foil. Kind of twist it around if you can. You can kind of get the general idea. We're just trying to make some type of object that our bubbles can get blown out of. But again, if you don't have one at home, this is an easy way to make one so you don't have to go out, and then you can try the craft. All right, so then I just folded that long strip of tin foil in half, and again, we have a bubble wand. Pretty easy. All right, so now we'll set those off to the side. We'll use those in a minute. Now back to our bubbles. If you have bubbles already at home and you didn't have to make them, this will be the point that you can hop in and join us in order to do our bubble art. So what I have here is 4 little containers that I'm gonna put some bubbles into. It depends on how many colors you want for our bubble art. So if you only want to use 3 colors, you'll obviously only need 3 containers. I have 4 different colors of food coloring. So that's the other supply you're gonna need in order to do our bubble art. It's some food coloring from home. So what you're gonna do is take out your food coloring, and I actually need to grab one other thing. My other food coloring box that has different colors in it. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna take blue food coloring, red food coloring, and yellow and green. That looks about right. All right, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna just take your liquid measuring cup that you had before and just kind of dump it in some bubbles. Or if you have a bubble container already that you might have from the store, you're just gonna dump some in a container. So you have 4 separate colors of bubbles that we can use. So I'm pouring it in. And if we don't use all the bubbles, that's okay, because you don't need a lot for the next step of this project. All right, so I have some bubbles in 4 containers here, and then you're just gonna take your food coloring and probably do like 3 or 4 drops of each color into each bubble container. Okay. I've got my green, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my red. All right, so bubbles in the containers, food coloring in the bubbles, and you're just gonna kind of mix up the color. If you have a smaller whisk, that might work, or a spoon. Just so your bubbles turn a different color, that's what we're looking for. All right, so again, obviously if you have your own bubbles at home, you're just gonna pour the bubbles into separate containers, put your food coloring in, and that is it for kind of this step 1 of the craft. So we've made our bubbles, we've turned our bubbles colors, we have our bubble wands, so we wanna make sure we have that. And now for the next step, we're actually gonna go outside. So what you're gonna wanna have with you outside are your bubble wand, your bubble colors, and then either like a piece of white canvas that you might have at home. You might have some white cardstock, possibly like a white watercolor paper. You're gonna need something that's thick and white. White so that we can see the bubbles when we do this part, and then it needs to be thicker than a regular piece of white paper, or else it's just gonna get too soggy when we're done and you're not really gonna be able to hang it up or display it anywhere. So again, I have some extra white canvas, which is what I'm gonna bring outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all that together, and I'll meet you outside. Hi friends, so we are outside now, and we have a couple things with us. So we have a white sturdy piece of either paper or canvas like we have here. We have our bubbles that we made inside, and then our bubble wands too. So from this point, it's really pretty easy and it's pretty fun. We're basically just gonna dip our bubble wand into the different colors, and you're gonna blow the bubbles onto your white piece of paper, and it's gonna splatter and make just different kinds of patterns and whatnot. So it's really just kind of fun. You don't really know what it's gonna look like until it's done, and then once it's dried, you can hang it up somewhere in your room or your house, and it's a pretty cool craft. So let's get started. I'm just gonna dip it in any color you want to start, and kind of shake it off a little bit, or else you get a lot of drip marks on your paper. And then you're just gonna blow, and if you can kind of see, it's splattered on there, and then you can use different colors. And just take your time and have fun, and you can do this, a couple different times on different papers, and like I said, it's just kind of a fun craft. Yep, just make sure you tap it off so you don't get a ton of drip marks. Okay friends, so we're done making our bubble art, and as you can kind of see, ours all look a little bit different depending on the colors we used and if we wanted ours to drip down at all. Like Isabella here with hers, she wanted hers to kind of have that drip look, so she blew her bubbles and then she stood her piece of paper, her canvas up straight and let them run down. At this point we just kind of have to let it dry a little bit more, and like I said before, then you can just hang them up or do with them what you will. A couple tips too though throughout, the reason we're outside is because we're using food coloring, and food coloring can stain sometimes. So that's why if you get it on your driveway or you're in the grass, not as big of a deal as if you're inside on your counters. Again, we all wore our art aprons or our art shirts so you don't get food coloring on your clothes and it's stained. If you use the tinfoil bubble maker, you just want to make, or the bubble wand, you just want to make sure that it stays closed, because if it starts to come open, you're not going to get that bubble formed. And just have a little bit of patience with yourself. It's supposed to be fun. And if you do make this and decide to try this craft, please send us some pictures. Send Mr. Justin and I an email with some pictures. We would love to see what you tried to make this week. So, all right, friends, I hope you try it. I hope you have fun with it, and we'll see you soon. Bye.